The coffee cup slipped from my fingers and shattered on the kitchen tile at 6:47 a.m., the exact moment I saw the calendar note glowing on her phone. Sundays, 6 months of marriage, and I had never noticed the pattern until that morning, when the steam from the broken mug curled around my bare feet like a warning. My name is Daniel, and the woman I loved more than oxygen was already humming in the shower, oblivious to the fact that her secret had just cracked open my world. I stood there in yesterday's t-shirt, heart punching against my ribs, replaying every Sunday for the past 26 weeks. She always left at 9:30 with a yoga mat slung over her shoulder, and a kiss that tasted like goodbye. Hot yoga with the girls, she'd say, tucking a loose strand of auburn hair behind her ear. Helps me reset for the week. I believed her because I wanted to, because the alternative was a darkness I wasn't ready to face. But the initial M on her screen wasn't any of her girlfriends. It was Mark, her ex, the one whose framed photo she'd buried in a box the week we got engaged, the one she swore was ancient history. I cleaned the shards in silence, each clink of ceramic sounding like a countdown. When she emerged, wrapped in steam and the scent of coconut shampoo, she smiled the same smile that had convinced me to propose on a rainy pier in Seattle. "You okay, babe?" she asked, brushing past me to grab her keys. Her voice was light, but I caught the flicker in her eyes when she saw the phone face down on the counter. I forced a nod. Dropped a mug. Clumsy. She laughed, kissed my cheek, and was gone by 9:28, the door clicking shut like a judge's gavel. I waited exactly 4 minutes, long enough for her Prius to turn the corner, then grabbed my own keys. My palms were slick, my pulse a frantic drumline. I told myself I was being paranoid, that yoga studios sometimes had male instructors named Mark, that I was the crazy one. But the lie tasted metallic like blood under the tongue. Her studio was 20 minutes away, a sleek glass building downtown. I parked 2 blocks over, hoodie up, feeling like a stranger in my own life. Through the tinted windows I saw rows of women in downward dog, but no Sarah. My stomach folded in on itself. I circled the block twice, 3 times, until I spotted her car in the overflow lot behind the adjacent cafe. Not yoga. Not even close. I followed the familiar route she took every Sunday, the one I'd memorized without meaning to. 10 miles north past the suburbs, into the older neighborhood where maple trees arched over cracked sidewalks. Mark Street. I knew it because I'd driven her here once, 2 years ago, to pick up a box of her things after their breakup. "Last time I'll ever see this place," she'd promised, squeezing my hand. I parked half a block down, engine off, and watched her pull into his driveway like she belonged there. The house hadn't changed. Pale blue siding, overgrown hydrangeas, a porch swing that creaked even when no one sat on it. Sarah stepped out in leggings and an oversized sweater, my sweater, and hesitated on the welcome mat. She glanced around the way people do when they're afraid of being seen, then disappeared inside. The door closed. The porch light flicked on, though it was barely 10 o'clock in the morning. I don't know how long I sat there. Minutes, maybe an hour. My phone buzzed with a text from her. "Class is packed today. Miss you already." The lie was so casual it felt rehearsed. I stared at the screen until the words blurred. When the front door opened again, I ducked low in my seat. Sarah stepped out first, Mark right behind her. He was taller than I remembered, broader, wearing the same flannel shirt from the photos she used to keep. He touched her elbow, light, familiar, and she didn't pull away. She laughed at something he said, the sound carrying across the quiet street like a blade. Then she hugged him. Not a polite, arms barely touching hug. A full face buried in his neck, fingers curled into his shirt hug. The kind we used to share when the world felt too big. I drove home on autopilot, tears streaking sideways across my temples. The house smelled like her coconut shampoo and the lemon candle she loved. I sat on the couch, our couch, and waited. Every tick of the clock was a hammer against my skull. At 12:42 p.m., the front door opened. "Hey, I'm home." Her voice was bright, too bright. She kicked off her shoes, dropped her mat by the door. "You won't believe how sweaty I got. Think I pulled something in my hip." She winced theatrically, then noticed me. "Dan? You okay? You look pale." I couldn't speak at first. The words were lodged behind my teeth like shrapnel. Finally, "Where were you, Sarah?" "Yoga, like I said." She frowned, crossing to the kitchen. "Want me to make grilled cheese?" "Stop." My voice cracked. I stood, legs unsteady. Just stop. She froze, water bottle halfway to her lips. What's going on? I saw you. The sentence felt like glass in my throat. At Mark's. The color drained from her face so fast I thought she might faint. The bottle slipped from her hand, splashing water across the hardwood. Daniel. 6 months, I whispered. Every Sunday. While I was here making pancakes, planning our stupid future. It's not what you think, she started, but her voice trembled. Then what is it? I shouted, the sound foreign in my own ears. Because it looked like you never left him. Like I was the placeholder. Tears filled her eyes, but I couldn't tell if they were real. I was going to tell you. I swear. It started innocently. He texted after Grandma died, just checking in. Then coffee. Then more. More. The word tasted like ash. I love you, she said, stepping closer. I chose you. The ring, the vows, the house. But not enough to stop. My chest ached like I'd been punched. Not enough to delete his number. Not enough to come home to me without his fingerprints still on your skin. She reached for me, but I stepped back. The distance between us felt galactic. I was scared, she whispered. Scared of how easy it felt with him again. Scared of what that meant about us. I laughed, a broken sound. You think I'm not scared? Every day I wake up terrified I'm not enough for you. And today I learned I was right. Silence stretched, thick and suffocating. Outside, kids laughed on bikes, oblivious. Sarah sank to the floor, knees buckling. I don't know how to fix this, she said, voice small. I don't know if I can. I looked at the woman I'd memorized, every freckle, every scar, every nervous tick, and felt her slipping through my fingers like sand. I don't know either, I said. But I can't unsee what I saw. I can't unfeel this. She cried then, shoulders shaking, and part of me wanted to kneel beside her, to promise we'd figure it out. But the bigger part, the raw bleeding part, knew some fractures don't heal clean. I grabbed my keys from the counter, the same keys that had followed her to his door that morning. Where are you going? She asked, voice cracking. Somewhere I can breathe. I paused at the door, hand on the knob. Don't wait up. The porch swing at Mark's house creaked in my memory as I stepped into the afternoon light. Behind me, Sarah's sobs echoed, but I didn't look back. Some betrayals don't end with screaming or slammed doors. They end with the quiet click of a lock. The slow realization that the life you built was only ever halfway yours. 6 months married, and I was already a ghost in my own home.